Hello, everybody. Welcome to the call. This is Scott Hudspeth with Agent Mastermind. I appreciate you guys joining us today, and very honored to be here as always. And I have a dear friend with me today that is going to show us how to do 30 listings a month in any market. Man, you know, Todd, when you first told me this title, I'm like, man, that just kind of made the hair stand up on the back of my neck. How you doing today, man? I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's another day in the hustle. We're all in the same we're all in the same business here, trying to get more business. So it's good, and I look forward to sharing with your audience out there.
Excellent, man, and I appreciate again. I'm honored to have you here. And Mike Zinger, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing really well. How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. Appreciate you being here, man. So, Todd, I'm gonna kind of I got my notepad, I got my pencil, and I'm just here to learn. Just so everybody just joining us, we have Todd Bates on the call with us, and he's going to share with us again how to do 30 listings a month. He's going to go over his resume, which is very, very impressive. He's done this. He's helped, I don't know, what I read, 250,000 presentations and just, I mean, ungodly amount of people that you help. So, man, I'm going to let you take it away. I got my note, my pen, and I'm just going to sit back and take notes, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, just a little bit about my background. I've done a lot of things in the world of marketing. I'm not really a coach. I'm more of a marketing coach.
Okay.
And so people come to me for, how to make the phone ring, how to get more calls, how to get people to raise their hands. So that's been my, I've done this for 20 years, and I own probably 65 different websites and 47 different companies, but it's all under the same premise that we all need more phone calls. So
Right.
I've personally worked with or coached about 25,000 people, a lot of people in the world of real estate, a lot of lenders, a lot of different small business owners, but it's all the same process. So what I hope you get out of today, whether you're in the mortgage world, the real estate world, or even if you're selling carpet out there, this still applies. I used to do about 200 events a year on the road until I got tired of traveling so much. A 250,000 people have seen me live, and my claim to fame in the world of real estate was 300 deals a year, about 30 listings a month that I took. So the question that I get, most often is how do I, when it's a real estate person, how do I get more listings? How do I get more people to call me? So eventually, over time, I developed my 12 rules of success. I'm going to go through those one at a time, and I just hope everybody out there I hope something resonates with you, something that you can tweak, something that you can modify, improve in your business based on what I've learned working one-on-one with so many people and in my own business. God knows I screwed up probably more than anybody out there. So what I'm about to go through here is not me guessing. It's me either screwing up personally, costing myself hundreds of thousands of dollars, or one of my clients screwing up and figuring out. So let's jump into it. The very first thing that I would tell you, and hopefully everyone can hear, and by the way, guys, Scotty and Mike, everyone's good. Everyone can hear me. They can see my screen. We're all good on that front.
Absolutely, man. It sounds good, and I can see your screen. I think everybody else is okay. So
okay,
we're good to go.
Just making sure before we chime in too much here. So the very first thing that I would tell you, if your goal is to get a listing a day, okay, which was my goal, and I did that for 8 or 9 years in a row, that kind of a pace and that kind of volume in the wonderful world of real estate. The number one thing that I would tell you, first rule, is you got to have a ridiculous, powerful, out-of-the-box, sometimes completely crazy marketing message. And I have a flyer down here, a form that I use that kind of explains what I'm talking about. But a marketing message is something that separates you from the other 4 zillion real estate agents out there going after the same listing. And so over time, I've developed kind of a 3-step process for developing a marketing message, and quite honestly, that's what I spend probably 75% of my time doing, is developing marketing messages for my clients. But just as a reference here, there's basically 8 different categories of marketing messages. What we're looking for with an individual client, and again, this would apply all 8 of these categories. It really doesn't matter if you're selling cars or paint, or I have a lot of doctors and attorneys and CPAs and small business owners as clients, but I'm going to keep all the examples here today related to real estate, just because I know that's the majority of the people that we have on the phone. But these 8 different categories, what we're looking for is something inside of your business that is better, more unique, more beneficial than the competition. So as I go through these 8 different categories, think about your own particular business and start to think about how, why are you different? The issue with getting more listings is you have to be completely different than everybody else. You're not going to get the call. You're not going to get a FSBO or an expired or a short sale or a normal seller or an investor or anybody else under the listing category to call you unless they see you as somebody different. So the 8 different categories are quality, and that sometimes has to do with experience. An example, one of my clients, has a team, does a couple hundred deals a year, and we use kind of a marketing message on his particular business. If you add up the amount of experience that he has on his particular team, it's over 150 years. So his marketing message is based on that. So when you think of quality, think about your experience. Extras is another category. Extras is, is there anything extra that you provide your seller clients that the average agent does not? Now remember, what we're looking for here, if I asked you, why do people use you? Why should they list their home with you? And, typically when I ask that at a seminar or a workshop or whatever, here's what I get back. They say, Todd, I'm a good person. I'm honest. I'm loyal. I'm trustworthy. I've been in business for, 12 years. Customer service is my #1 priority. I mean, blah, 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 blah. Almost everyone says the same thing in real estate. That's why very few people get phone calls. So what we're looking for here is something different. Is there something extra that you offer that benefits your seller client? What about communication? I had a client of mine that, does probably half a dozen to 8 expired listings a month. One of her categories or one of her systems is expired listings, and she has a communication process. The problem with expired listings is they don't like real estate agents. So
Right.
She separates herself with a different communication process. She lets people know, look, you're going to get 2 emails from me every week. You're going to get a voice email from me, a voice broadcast from me every week. I'm going to send you something that, in the mail every 10 days. You're going to get a call from me every Thursday morning between 9 and 11. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of communication she does, and that's why she takes so many expired listings. What about the statistical category? When you're looking at stats, there has to be something unique about your business, statistically speaking, that we can use to really separate you. Do you sell homes faster? Do you sell homes for more money? Do you have a better average days on the market, better list to sales price? Do you, is there some sort of stat success rate? I mean, there's literally probably 20 different stats that I analyze when I'm working with a client, but we have to find one stat that is phenomenal. One stat that would absolutely eliminate the competition. Because remember, when you get the phone call, the deal is pretty much done. If I ask most of my clients what's the problem in their business, when they first come to me, they say, well, Todd, I'm good with people. I build rapport with people. People love me, but I'm not getting the phone call. So what I'm mostly concerned about is how to get the phone call, how to get people to raise their hand, because most of you are pretty good when it comes to face-to-face or over the phone. That's not the issue. You're just not getting the phone call. So when it comes to stats, what stat can we throw out there that'll get you more phone calls? The service category. Service category sometimes it deals with, how many people you have helping you. And by the way, even if you don't have a team, you better pretend like you do have a team. You better start telling people it's 5 for the price of 1. You better let them know how you service people. For example, in my pre-listing packet, which is another part of taking a lot of listings, I have a 201-point marketing plan. So that's a great little service marketing message. When I delivered my pre-listing package to the seller with a 201-point marketing plan, it pretty much eliminated anybody else that came before me or after me, because very few other people have a 201-point marketing plan. So that's an example of a service marketing message. What about testimonials? A lot of my clients, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have tremendous success stories, tremendous testimonials. Problem is, with most agents that I run into, they're not using them correctly. They're not in audio, they're not in video, they're not in text, they're not anything, so they're just kind of sitting there, so they're useless. What types of guarantees do you have? And remember, back up here, what we're looking for is the best category. Do you have a guarantee sale time? Do you have an easy exit guarantee? Do you have I have clients that do 19-day sale guarantees. I have clients that do, different types of guarantees to make the phone ring. And I always get a lot of confusion when it comes to guarantees because everyone says, well, Todd, I see your 39-day guarantee. I'll sell your home in 39 days or I'll sell it for free. How could I possibly perform on something like that? And that's part of the process. You have to pick a message that gets people to call, but obviously you have to perform on whatever the guarantee is. So it's kind of a fine line in making sure that you can live up to some of your promises. It's kind of a moving target. So the question on that particular category is, what is your guarantee? And then the final category is price, and price always has to do in the world of real estate with your commission plans. Commission plans. Here's an example. I have a client that does about 600 deals a year. He is in the, I don't know how you describe it, and I don't know where everyone's out there, but it's like an assist to sell, help you sell type of format. Basically, his message is, I'll sell your home for $2,995. I mean, we've all seen that kind of thing. It always cracks me up when I tell this story at seminars because agents will, put their nose up and say, oh my God, I would never sell a home for $2,995. He's belittling the industry. He's bringing us down. He's making us look like used car salesmen, blah, blah, blah. Now, 600 deals a year. So but I'm telling you this for one reason. Number one, it's hard enough to make a net income on full commission. So I'm not in the plan of reducing commissions. It's hard enough business as it is. But here's my point. When that particular gentleman goes in front of a seller, he gives them three options. Here's your three plans. Option one, $29.95. I'm not going to do anything for you except put it in the MLS, $29.95. And you're still going to have to pay the buyer co-op. Can't get you out of that. Option number two, and I don't know what his other two options are, but let's just say hypothetically 5% or 6% or 7%, whatever the other options are. And at the second option, you get this kind of marketing, and at the third option, you get this kind of marketing. Okay, here's my point for telling you this story. Okay, 600 deals a year. The question for you is, which option do you think people choose?
Yeah,
well,
that's a
in
good
his
question.
particular case, 80% of the time, they either choose the middle option or the top option. But here's why I'm telling you this. What message do you think people call off of? Do you think they call off of?
Good point. Great point. Great point.
Yeah, they call off of, how am I going to save myself money, and
Right.
how is somebody going to sell my home quick? And I mean, sellers, they pretty much care about themselves.
Yep.
So the point is, he's getting the phone call, giving people choices. They pick whatever choice they want. It's really, who cares about that? And then he just plugs them right in. So bottom line, he's laughing all the way to the bank, and then the other realtors are saying, well, oh my,
how am I losing the listings? Yeah.
How would I ever do that kind of thing? So my point with the marketing message is you have to find a message that fits with you, fits your personality, fits the kind of things that you want to put out there in the public. I mean, it's a moving target. And like I said, I have kind of a three-step process. I spend a lot of my time. I have a bunch of copywriters on staff that spend their time developing messages for my clients. But let's go back to issue number one here.
Hey Todd, real quick, out of those, the marketing message there, do you find it that a lot of people, like, do they focus on one thing or lack on one thing, or do you find it that all the agents that you work with, if they did this one thing or one or two or three of these things, they would increase their business by 1, 2, 3 more closings a month? Do you find that if there's one more important than the other, or are they all important that either you delegate it or have somebody help you with it, or it's got to be in place?
Well, I mean, if you want to add another 1 or 2, 3 deals a month, at the end of the day, it all starts with your message. If you're not getting phone calls,
right.
If you're not getting new people to call you, even your referral base to call you, you just don't have a powerful enough message. I can tell you from 20 years of doing this and 25,000 clients, I run into about 0 number of people when they first come to me that had a great message.
Okay.
So if you're out there thinking in the back of your head, oh, no, Todd, I have a great message. Trust me, you don't. I'm not trying to piss everyone off out there, but it's hard to get a good message, and it's probably the most important thing before you start doing more marketing to go out and get more listings. So, all right, my second rule, if we want to take 30 listings a month, you have to only deal with listings. I can't stress this enough. I had a conversation with one of my clients yesterday, and it's the same conversation I've had 4,000 times. Yes, you can make money with buyers. Yes, there's a commission check out there, but at the end of the day, all you're doing is chasing commission checks. So if your real goal, and I'm not saying your real goal here is just to do listings. You can certainly run your business, and most people do, with a combination of both. But if your only goal in life is to take 30 listings a month, let's just say that's the case, which it probably isn't, but if that's your only goal, you have to stay completely focused on listings. All of your marketing, all of your money-making activity, which we'll talk about here in a second, has to go towards listings. An example of this, when I was doing the kind of numbers that I told you about before, and if I sold a house, I would let the seller know there's absolutely no way possible I can help you buy a house. Now, I have somebody on my team that can help you, but me personally, there's no way that I can help you, because my niche of the world, my specialty, is listing your home and getting the most money for your home and get you out of home as fast as you can. We can certainly service you, but it's not going to be me personally. Now, I know that sounds harsh, and I know a lot of people out there listening would be like, Todd, what are you talking about? But I'm telling you, there's a zillion ways to make money in this business. You cannot be a master of everything. You have to be the master of one when it comes to taking more listings. All right, my third rule. You got to have at least 4 marketing systems in place running all the time. Okay, I'm going to pull up another little chart here. There we go. Okay, I have a 4-system rule. So here's the question that I ask people right off the bat when I start working with them. Where do you get your business from? Okay, 95% of the time, and I'll just use my mouse here, but highlight, this is where most people get the majority of their business from. They've taken care of their clients, they have a good referral base, they have a lot of followers, they have a database, they have a good name and reputation, they know what they're doing, they don't make people mad, they have system number 1 in place. I don't care about system number 1. I mean, I do care about system number 1, but from a marketing standpoint, we got to find 3 more systems. So as you look at this 4-system rule, are your other systems going to go after, in this particular case, we're talking about going after listings. Is it going to be online? Is it going to be a website, social media? As you go around the chart there, is it going to be direct mail? Is it going to be expireds? Is it going to be FSBOs? Is it going to be print media? And then system number 4 typically is we want to turn you into an expert of something. One of the keys to your success, beyond the fact that you need 4 systems, not just 1 or 2, and by the way, you should be thinking right now, where do I get my business from? 98% of the time, it's 1 or 2 main sources, and you're missing the other 2 or 3. So my job is, number 1, develop the message, and then number 2, get the other 2 or 3 systems in play. But we want to turn you into an expert of something. So right down here in the lower left-hand corner, what are you, the guru of, an expert of? On the listing side, we're talking about the listing side. We could be doing a whole other conversation on the buyer side. But what are you an expert of? What would I absolutely, positively pay you to do above and beyond most people that I run into? Are you an expert at short sales? Are you an expert at, are you the second chance realtor? You're an expert with expired listings, or you're an expert with helping people trying to sell their home on their own, or maybe you're an expert with flipping property and you got the investment side going. I mean, literally, there's probably 15 different categories just on the listing side. We have to find 4. Okay, you probably already have 1. We have to find 4 that match up with your personality, your budget. Here's an example. I'll talk about budget here in a second. It's one of my rules. But, I had a gal call me a couple of weeks ago and says, I want to start farming an area. Phenomenal. Love it. I mean, it's a great seller system if you have a good message. But if all of your marketing materials look like everybody else, it's a complete waste of time, waste of money. So I began asking her questions. about her particular situation and what kind of farm and what are the average price of the home and blah, 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 blah. But it turns out her farming idea was not a match, number one, with her budget. Running a farm is not going to cost you $100 a month, as you all know. And number two, it really wasn't a match with her personality. Her personality was, quite honestly, more on the buyer side. So she was thinking about, yeah, I want some more listings, but it really wasn't her personality, so it didn't match up. So as you look at the 4-system rule, where do you get your business from? We got to maximize what you're already doing. And again, you're probably already doing this. People already love you. I could care less about that. But we need to find the other 3 systems that complete the puzzle. Otherwise, you're going to stay in survival mode, not money-making mode. We need money-making mode. But as you noticed before I close that out, the main point here is a message. Before you do anything, you got to create a great message. All right, let's get back to our rules. Rule number 4. We want to do a listing a day, 30 listings a month. You're going to have to give me 3 hours of money-making activity every day. Now, if you're doing money-making activity 3 hours a day, I promise you, you're in the 7-figure a year income range. Very difficult to stay focused 3 hours a day for any entrepreneurial salesperson, agent, anybody on this call. Very, very difficult to stay focused for that amount of time. Here's the problem. Because we're entrepreneurs, we get unfocused pretty easily. What I always tell my clients, in fact, I had this conversation the other day with somebody. I said, look, his name's Cliff. Cliff, you're not giving me enough money-making activity to run the 4 marketing systems I've given you. We have a great message. We have systems, but you're not paying the price every day to run the systems and, follow up on the calls or answer people's questions or make the calls, various things that he had to do in terms of actually making money. And he said, well, Todd, I get up every morning at 7 o'clock. I said, well, good for you. Who cares? I need 3 hours a day of money-making activity. I don't care what time you get up. He said, well, first thing that I do every day is I check my voicemail and my email. And I said, well, first of all, stop doing that at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. If you check your voicemail and email at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's going to screw up the rest of your day.
Absolutely.
A little bit of advice for everybody out there from time management standpoint, because we're not good at time management. All of us know that. Right. Don't even show up to the office until at least noon or 1. Spend the morning between 9 and 10 or 9 to noon if you're really, really want to crank your business up doing the money-making activity. Okay, I think my point should resonate with most of you out there because you're exactly like me. All right, rule number 5. You got to have a great head nurse. What I mean by a great head nurse is what you need to do is run your business, your listing-taking business, like a doctor's office. If you go to the doctor hardly does anything. The head nurse does everything. And what I mean by a head nurse is a head nurse answers all the questions. The head nurse does all the paperwork. The head nurse will take your blood pressure and temperature. The doctor comes in and asks you, 5 questions and then writes you the prescription and then moves on to the next patient. I need you to be the doctor, not the head nurse. Now, here's the unfortunate part. Head nurses make about 1/10 of what the doctor makes. It should be completely the opposite. You guys know that, but the truth is the doctor is the doctor and the head nurse is the head nurse. So if you're going to get your business to the next level, and if your goal is to take a listing every single day, you got to find a great head nurse. You have to make it so that you almost work for the head nurse. I remember in my own business, my head nurse, her name was Lisa, I'd come in every day, and my whole job every day was to drop off a new file. In my case, a new file was a new listing. And if I didn't have a new file on her desk by 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she'd be saying, Todd, where's my new listing? Because remember, she did pretty much everything. All I had to do was money-making activity, obviously, run my 4 systems, talk to prospects, go on appointments, and take the listings. Everything else, you know this, pays about $5 an hour. Real estate, the loan business, anybody that's on this call, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 95% of what you do pays $5 an hour. Everything else, money-making activity, pays $1,000 an hour. My whole job is to get you to do more than $1,000 an hour. In order to do that, you got to have a great head nurse. So this lone wolf disease that a lot of people have that think they're going to do this on their own, it's not going to work out. It's a cycle that will never work out. It's a dead end. So please own up to it. Get some help.
Well, not only that, Todd. I mean, Todd, if you don't have a head nurse, you're literally, your critical mass is not very much because you're caught up in the stuff that's $5 an hour work. I mean, not only that, if you don't have a head nurse, your 3 hours a day are going to become very difficult once you do ramp up your business at all, because now you are the head nurse. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I get people every day. Todd, I missed our phone call. Todd, I couldn't answer your email. Todd, I'm busy. I get the I'm busy thing all day, every day. And then they say, obviously, because I'm me and I'm kind of a smart ass, excuse my French, but I say, what are you busy doing,
right,
Mr. Client? And then they answer me, I'm busy putting out fires, keeping deals together, which obviously we all have to do, but you have to get out of that mode if you're really going to go out and take a listing a day, if that's the goal of this particular session. All right, rule number 6, one-step listing appointments. I can't stress this enough. Many of you out there are so good with your clients, it makes me ill. People love you, but I need you to be a little bit more direct. I remember a few months back a client telling me, yeah, Todd, I'm running the 4 systems. I got my message. It's going well. But I'm going on too many appointments, and I found out basically he was going on, 2 or 3 appointments to take one listing. And the reason he's going on 2 or 3 appointments is because he didn't use the greatest phrase of all time. And the greatest phrase of all time on your clients is, hey, Mr. Client, Mr. Listing Prospect, would you mind if I'm direct with you? Make sure you ask that at every listing appointment from now on, because they're going to say, yes, please be direct with me. And then you can just ask them whatever you want to ask them and get on with it. Instead of beating around the bush and taking 2 or 3 appointments to take one listing, I got to come back and take the pictures and measure and blah, 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 blah. Stop delaying the inevitable. Be more direct. Get to the point. One-stop shop. Imagine going to your doctor and your doctor saying, look, thanks for coming in. I know you're sick right now, but can you come in next Thursday and I'll write you the prescription? I mean, it doesn't work. Be the doctor. Okay, rule number 7. Here's a big one. And I know this is, it doesn't seem like, well, what does this have to do with marketing? But rule number 7 is fear management. Here's my fear management cycle, everyone. If you're going to get your business to the next level, and by the way, this seminar today could be how to do 30 buyers in a month. It could be to sell 30 cars in a month. It could be to find 50 new clients for your attorney practice in a month. It's all the same, okay? But in this case, if you're going to go out and take 30 listings in a month, a listing a day, you have to manage your fear. The 2 or 3 big fears that I deal with on a regular basis are fear of rejection, fear of going broke, and fear of success. And probably the last one, fear of success, is the biggest one of all. Many of you are great with your clients. Many of you give great customer service. Many of you should be doing 10 times as much as you're currently doing, but you have this fear of success, and the fear of success is this thought in the back of your mind, will I be able to handle it all? That's really the fear. Can I handle it all? What if I do go out and get,
we have that little guy on our shoulder saying, I can't do that, or there's no way. Scott, what are you thinking? You're Todd, there's no way you can do that. And that's the guy that you need to kick off your shoulder and go, you know what, if I'm going to be successful, I need to remove these fears. Because I read something. I said, I read that fear, like 99.9% of the time, never happens. Like the stuff you fear never actually takes place or happens. So it's just you're in your own person, your own mind that's holding you back most of the time. And I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, so it's like a mental phantom. The cycle goes like this. If I get you to manage your fear just a little bit more, you'll give me more action, you'll get better results, your attitude will improve, you'll manage your fear even more. Yep. So the point here is, at the end of the day, most of the problem is between your ears. So yes, we can develop a message, which we need to do. Yes, we need 4 systems. Yes, you need to do more money-making activity. Yes, you need to tweak your approach a little bit, but it all comes back to fear management. So everyone out there, keep this in mind. All right, rule number 8. If we get you some more phone calls, which with a better message and more systems, we can generate more phone calls. But you got to be good on the phone. And good on the phone means this, and write this down, everyone, or just remember this. You need to stop answering questions.
Amen.
And what I mean by stop answering questions is stop talking.
Yes.
Okay, I don't need salespeople. Salespeople are like a dime a dozen. Salespeople make 65 grand a year. If they're really good, they make 120 grand a year. If you want to make 500 grand a year, stop answering any questions. Interview the people that are calling you. Don't let them interview you. When you go on listing appointments, your mindset needs to be, do I even want this listing?
Correct.
Have this seller prove to me that this listing is worth my time, energy, money, and headache and hassle and everything that goes along with the listing. So your phone skills, getting that appointment once people call you back or you're on the phone doing follow-up.
I tell you, Todd, that is Todd, that is such an important message right there. Where I mean, I think the fear comes of me not getting the listing. Where if you change the fear to, and not even really a fear, but you say, do I even want this listing, with the mindset of that walking into that listing presentation, it's such a, because they can feel. I mean, people are smart. They know that you're begging for it, or you want the sale, or whatever. You're trying to sell them on why they should go with you. But if you change it around and go, you know, I'm here to see whether you're a good fit for me, and that you're a good fit, you know, just as much as I'm a good fit for you. So, you know, let's get to know each other a little bit. That's a huge.
Right, exactly. It's a mind shift.
It is.
I call it the match script. Everyone should do the match script at every listing appointment. The match script is something like this. Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm not here to list your home. I'm not here to sell you on me. I'm not here to sell you on my marketing plan, my company. I don't need to sell you at all. Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find out if we have a match between what I offer and what you're looking for. And if we do, we'll go forward. And if we don't, no harm, no foul. And that will put the objections and the barriers and all the stuff that goes on at, you know, the fear, the anxiety level will drop if you use the match script a little bit.
Love that, Todd.
All right, continuing on with the 12 rules of success, we're trying to talk about getting a listing a day. All right, 7% marketing budget, that's your budget. Remember, if we go back, we have 4 systems that we got to implement. We got to get as much out of our database as we possibly can, and we need 3 other systems, and, you know, literally I probably have 15 different seller-related systems on my member website, but it doesn't matter. We need 4. And you can only spend 7% on marketing. And I think, bear with me, everyone, I put a little graph. Here's an example. Okay, the 7%, you can look through this or kind of figure it out in your own world, but whatever your average commission check is, in this particular case, I put the average is $3,000 bucks. All right? Maybe your average is 5 grand or 10 grand or 20 grand, whatever it is. Take that number times 7%. In this hypothetical case, this person's 7% number is 210 bucks. So for every 210 bucks this person spends on marketing, whether it's on a website, an ad, farming, referral-based, FISBOs or expireds, an 800 number tracking system, whatever your marketing is, it's different for everybody. In this hypothetical example, for every 210 bucks they spend, they have to produce something from it. So for example, if you're running a FISBO and expired campaign, that didn't work. If you're running a FISBO and expired campaign and it costs you 400 bucks a month, you know, phone calls, maybe you have a call center, maybe you have postcards, letters, whatever, pre-listing package, whatever, 400 bucks a month. That particular, those systems need to be producing 2 deals a month. 400, 210 bucks into 400, roughly 2 deals a month. So what I want everyone to think about doing out there is turning their business into a math equation. 7% is the budget. So you got to ask yourself right now, okay, let's jump out of the listing world just for a second. Figure out what you're spending money on. Figure out what your average commission check is to you, and does it match up? Now, I promise you, if you go through that, that's going to be a disappointing, eye-opening, frustrating type of event.
No
I have
question.
run, 25,000 clients later. I can promise you, you're spending 2, 3, 4 times what you should be spending on marketing to get deals. And again, I don't care what business you're in. 7% is the budget. So go through that math equation, but that's one of the rules of success.
I love that, Todd. Love that.
Yeah, it's a good little.
Because then you go, if you're spending 1,000 and you have no results, like it's like, why keep spending the 1,000? Go focus on something that actually is going to make you money. Write small checks to cash big checks, and we talk about that all the time. But make sure you're not writing big checks to cash small checks.
Yeah, it's
Pretty common.
amazing. What I get back typically when I go through that, a real life scenario with a particular client, what I typically get back is, look, hey, Mr. Client, you're spending $1,500 a month on your website. That's 18 grand a year, and I know you got 4 deals from it, and you made 30 grand off the 4 deals. But to spend 18 to make 30 really doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're on this phone call, I don't care what business you're in. If you're on this phone call, it's very, very difficult to make a net income in business. Net income. I have people all the time call me up. Oh, Todd, I made 100 grand a month. I make 80 grand a month. I make 50 grand a month, but I can't afford my assistant. You know what I mean? It's complete nonsense. This is about net income and cash. How much cash do you have left over at the end of the day? So follow the 7% marketing budget. I call it my golden rule of marketing. Don't break that, otherwise you'll be broke. All right, number 10. This is hard also. Focus, focus, focus. Once you get your 4 systems, once we have your message, once we get your 4 systems, you can never, ever go outside those systems. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but here's what most people do. They're like all over the place. They'll do a commercial deal, they'll do an investment deal, they'll do a buyer deal, they'll do a short sale, they'll do a referral base. It's just complete chaos. No deal is the same, no process, no step-by-step is the same. They're all over the place because they're basically chasing commission checks. Now,
Yes.
The good news is when you chase commission checks, you will have an income. You will drive the right car, you'll live in the right neighborhood, your kids will go to the right schools. But you'll never, ever get wealthy doing that. You'll never get wealthy. So if you really want to get to the next level, stop being normal salesperson, get your 4 systems, and focus. Focus. All right, delegation.
Hey, Todd, before you go to the delegation, one of the biggest challenges I find working with people is that once they actually figure out where their business is and what's working, what's not, and then they remove some time, which moves some things and frees up some time, one of the biggest challenges is not filling that time with more crap that isn't going to do them any justice. So that's where you really have to, I can't stress what Todd's saying right now about the focus is whether it's an hour, 2 hours. If you can spend 3 hours, I can't even tell you what your business would look like in 90 days. Sometimes just 30 days. If you spend 3 hours a day calling past database and saying hi and doing something of value for them, or just helping them remember who you are and what you do for a living, it's amazing what that would look like in just 30 days. So I can't stress, if some way, shape, or form, find a way to carve out 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours if you can per day, and whatever you do the rest of the day, who cares? But you need to really, truly focus on that 3 hours a day.
Yeah, and it's a good reiteration. I can say it 100 times, and hopefully you guys will say it 100 times beyond this particular class. All right, delegation. I've talked to you a little bit about this, but I have a delegation chart that I constantly reminding my clients about. Look, I can pretty much delegate your entire business. In fact, I don't even need you in business. In fact, here's what I tell most of my clients. The further I get you out of your business, the more money you're going to make, because you'll eventually screw it up because you overthink things, and we're like entrepreneurs. So I'll talk to you more about that in a second. But just as a guide here, okay? If you want to get a virtual assistant, 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour. Full-time assistant, head nurse, $3 grand a month plus bonus. Call center, telemarketer, I can get that for $7 an hour. Virtual assistant, $5. Errand person, put up the signs, lock boxes, take the pictures, 12, 15 bucks. Basically, any project you ever want done, go to Fiverr, Elance, or Guru, or any of those sites. Most of you know about this, but delegating doesn't mean that I need you to go out and hire a head nurse today. I don't need you to take on that expense right now unless your business is to that point.
Right.
But I guarantee you $100 a week towards some of these, categories, and there's probably 72 more, will free up your time to do more money-making activity. And by the way, just as a reminder, if you think your job is to sell real estate or to get more loans, you're never going to make any money. Your job is to find more people that want to list their home, in this example, or find more people that need lending help, or find more people that want to buy a home, or whatever it is. The marketing is your job. I can get basically anybody to do 98% of your job for you.
Amen.
And probably better than you can do it, because what you're really good at, quite honestly, is dealing with people.
Absolutely.
Having the rapport
Amen.
with your customers and taking care of them. So
Yep.
delegation is crucial. All right, one more thing here. Number 12, I call this avoid EID. Now, EID, everyone, stands for Entrepreneurial Idiot Disease. Okay, I wrote a book on this a few years ago, Entrepreneurial Idiot Disease, and the disease we all suffer from. In fact, I'm the leading sufferer of entrepreneurial idiot disease. That's why I wrote a book about it. Here's what entrepreneurs do. I hope I got this chart in here. Yeah, I call it my thinking chart. Here's what entrepreneurs do. Instead of being right in the moment, right now, what can I do right now? Prospecting, money-making activity. Most of us entrepreneurs are either thinking about the past, the regret, the depression, the guilt, which turns out to be completely useless, or thinking about the future. You're worrying about something, anxiety, anticipation, you have some sort of fear, which, as we talked about before, your greatest fear hardly ever happens 99% of the time. But here's the point. When you're thinking about the future or you're thinking about the past, you're not in this moment. You're not in the now, as they say. It's become famous over the last few years. Guys like Eckhart and various other guys that talk about being in the now. I remind my clients to be in the now all the time, because otherwise you're going to suffer from entrepreneurial idiot disease. What I mean by that is you start overthinking things. Now let's go back here. Let's go up. Right now, just in the last, 42 minutes, I've told you a handful of things that you need to do.
Yep.
Marketing message, focus on listings, you need 4 systems, you need a head nurse, you need to tweak your fear management, get better on the phone, remember the 7% budget, let's start delegating. I've given you a lot of things to think about. My point is not to overwhelm you. My point is not for you to get paralysis analysis. My point is just to take action on one thing. My point is to just get you to do something to improve your business, okay? Entrepreneurial idiot disease means you think, and never do. You spend all of your time calculating on what may happen in the future, which never occurs, or what screw-ups you made in the past, which doesn't help you at all for right now, because we've all made a zillion screw-ups. In fact, I had one of my clients the other day say, "Oh, Todd, you don't understand. I filed bankruptcy, went through foreclosure." I said, "Great. I don't know of anybody making any money that hasn't filed bankruptcy 2 or 3 times, gone through 2 or 3 foreclosures." So,
that's right.
Good for you. You're about to figure it out. So my point is, who cares about the past?
That's
Stop
right.
thinking about the future. Avoid the entrepreneurial crap that we all put ourselves through.
Yep.
All right. So before we open it up to questions, let me just remind everyone real quick, because I know these guys will get questions on this. What I do with each of my clients is I spend all of my time on this, creating a marketing message. Before we can get to the marketing systems and laying out the whole plan of attack for somebody, the very first thing that I do is I create a powerful marketing message for my clients. So if you want a marketing message, I have a couple of rules. Number one, you either have to call me, that's my cell phone number, 303-841-8008, or send me an email. That's a Todd Bates Marketing at Gmail, and I'll talk to you personally about creating a marketing message. But number two, here's the requirements. It's a 3-step process. It happens over the course of a couple of weeks. I have 30 people on my staff. A few of those people are copywriters. They help me create the message. Number 3, the cost is $250. So unless you're serious unless you could afford a little time one-on-one, unless you have $250, don't call, don't email, don't do anything. It's not a free lunch. You need a great message. So that's my little plug related to me. And I think, yeah, sorry, guys, I went to 46 after. I told you I'd shut up at 45 after. So
No, you're good, man. No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so we'll stop it there, and anybody out there can contact me if they want to, and we'll take questions, or you guys can chime in now and give me some thoughts.
Yeah, so one of the questions, Todd, is, this has been an amazing class, and I really appreciate it. A couple things that I took out of this. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw it up here. I'm just going to show you what I got out of this. So, and I've truly been working on this for the last 6 months, is the 3 hours per day major focus, and actually removing stuff from my plate every single week. So like every 2 weeks, we try to remove something from my plate where we delegate it. We either reduce, delegate, or delete it, period. Like, okay, it's not even working. There's no reason to be doing it. And I think a lot of us get into this creative avoidance type situation where, okay, I'm going to go build me a WordPress blog, and then I'm going, and I'm going to spend the next 3 months doing that, where I really should be just calling my past clients, current clients, marketing to FISBOs, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, right.
Great.
Getting focused on
getting focused.
Really where you make your money.
Yeah,
you're not making money building a WordPress site, trust me.
Correct. I know. And and the more I do this, Todd, I don't know if you find this as well. Social media is becoming more of a not really doing me any favors as it used to be. I mean, where I thought, okay, it's great for building relationships and friending people and staying in front of people, but I think right now with the more people that I work with, and I'm sure you see this too, they spend so much time there. That's not. I mean, you can't get time back. You know what I mean? So that's where. Are you finding that social media is kind of a nuisance, time nuisance, or time vampire? I like to call it.
Yeah, I have very few people that are making money on social media, but I will tell you this: my clients that make money on social media, the Facebook, the Twitter, the LinkedIn, the 15 other different things that you can do, and anybody online. I have people that they spend all their day with my clients running their online systems, which would be under the umbrella of social media and all that. Yeah. People that are doing it aren't doing it themselves.
Correct.
They have somebody running the system. I think social media is a complete waste of time personally.
Yes.
If you're doing it personally,
yes.
Is it a waste of time overall? No, but it has to be a system.
Yeah.
And it has to be constant updates, constant Twitter, constant, and that stuff pays $5 an hour. In fact, I have a gal that'll do it for $5 an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Well, that brings up a good question. So you said $250. Is that per session? So like to give them a marketing message, it's $250. That's not an ongoing monthly basis.
No, it's a one-time $250. That's it. This isn't a coaching program. This isn't a month-to-month sort of thing. Okay. I have a 3-step process that I take people through to find and develop their marketing message.
Got it.
So it's 3 different sessions, and it typically takes a week or 2. But I'm telling everyone out there just listening, don't do anything until you got your message.
Right.
Don't worry about any expenditure of any money on marketing until we figure out what the heck is best about you that we can utilize to get more phone calls.
Amen. I 100%. I mean, that's probably the best $250 you'll ever spend. I'm not, whatever. You just seem to, Todd gave you a ton of stuff. So my question, one of the guys asked, what does MMA stand for? M.M.A on the focus part, or on the I think that was one of your slides there. It was M.M.A.
Yeah, one of my bullet points.
Yeah.
Money-making activity. Money-making activity is basically on the phone with people.
Got it. All right. What data?
You calling him.
Yeah, perfect. Dan Bartel, appreciate you being here, brother. He says, what database system do you recommend? Do you have a preference?
In the world of real estate, there's the top producer, the Agent 2000. There's 2 or 3 big players, but don't get focused on that. Number 1, the head nurse should be running that. Number 2, they're all about the same. Number 3, most of you, even if you are a computer geek, that stuff pays $8 an hour. So, probably 70% of my clients use top producer in the real estate space. In the overall space, Salesforce and Act and but I had somebody call me the other day and say, hey, I'm using Realty Juggler. It's 99 whopping bucks a year.
Wow.
And they love it. So I don't know. Who cares?
Ton of great
something
stuff.
That'll manage your database.
Yeah. Yeah. So Carrie's asking, or not asking, but she says, I know doing the $5 an hour work is paralyzing my business, and I'd love to get an assistant. So, but I don't know what the but meant. So I don't know if she can tell. Oh, I don't think I can afford any suggestions. That's a great question, actually. I'm sure you hear this all the time.
Can you afford $20 a day?
Exactly. And that's where you got to look at.
Can you afford $40 a day? You don't need a full-time head nurse now. In fact, the cutoff related to real estate is this. If you're doing 0 to 40 deals a year, or if that's what your goal is, you just need a virtual person, maybe 2-3 hours a day, 10 hours a week-ish. If your goal is to do more than 40, up to 100 deals a year, you're going to need the full-time head nurse. But you have to start slow. Even if quite honestly, if you've got an errand person that you paid $50 a week to run errands, even if you've got a virtual assistant to manage your emails and a transactional coordinator. I ran into a client the other day. I said, why don't you, same kind of thing. I can't afford an assistant.
Right.
Great. Get a transactional coordinator. They get paid at closing.
Yep.
They don't get paid hourly. Who cares?
And here's the thing: is an assistant shouldn't cost you money; it should make you money, because it frees you up to do the money-making activities and the 3 hours of focus per day.
And that's the only thing you get paid to do.
Here's a good one.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So George says, "Are you willing to work with someone who wants just one listing per month?" I don't know why not. I mean, Todd's open, right? I mean,
yeah. It doesn't really matter if you're trying. We built this little class off of, okay, Todd did 30 listings a month, but honestly, everyone out there, do you want to do 30 listings a month? I mean, that was a complete grind. There's a price to pay to do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
But if you want to do 10 deals or 30 deals, I don't really care. You still need the message, and then you need the 4 systems.
Yep. Here's a great question by Mike. Mike says, Todd, what size of an area would you recommend? How many homes for one listing a week for a farm system?
50 deals a year off of a farm system?
No,
if you want to.
Okay.
Here's the math on 1 deal a month.
Okay.
On 1 deal a month out of a farm system, you're going to need 750 homes. Okay, so work it up from there.
Okay, there you go. Here's Mike Goodwin. Thanks for I appreciate you putting this in, Mike. He says, I have tracked and received about 30% of my business from Facebook. I run it myself, and it takes no more than 15 minutes a day. 8 billion in production. Oh, excuse me, 8 million. I got the B messed up with the M there. In production, 2 year in business. Congratulations, Mike. That's awesome. And you know what, Mike? Let's get a. Hey, Mike Zinger, you there?
Yo, I'm here.
Hey, can we take a note on Mike Goodwin? Let's see if he wants to do a class for us, because that's pretty dang impressive.
All right, I'll write it down.
I am a newer agent running out of money to support business fast. What things can I do to generate business today? I do not like, and she put LOL after it before I say this. She says, I do not like buyers, LOL.
Well, we got to start with your database, your referral base. You got to have a great message.
Yep.
A video drip campaign, probably the easiest, cheapest, fastest way. In other words, build your list. Send out a video email every week. I mean, I'm working with a lot of my clients on that. Some of you are on my Todd TV. I have about 180,000 agents on that get that.
Love your videos, man.
Sure little overlap on that, but that's probably the fastest, easiest, cheapest.
Okay. Here's Mike. I'm not sure I understand this question. Maybe you do, Todd. It says, how small of a point would you go to when compelling your multi-point marketing plan?
The bigger, the better. So
okay.
I have a 201-point marketing plan.
Okay.
But I guarantee you, most of you out there do at least 140 of those points also. I just took the time to put it into a 201-point marketing plan, and thus it's overwhelming for a seller. Remember, this is perception, not reality. The reality in real estate is we all pretty much do relatively the same thing.
Yep.
That's in every business. This isn't about reality, though. The perception is what counts for the particular seller.
Yeah.
So the bigger, the better is the answer.
Cool. And Rita says, how many calls to get one listing presentation per day? You got an average on that?
Well, your goal from a mathematical standpoint would be to have 4 systems running that produce an average of 8 new conversations with new people every day.
Okay.
If you do that, okay, that's a minimum. that would get you about a deal a week.
Okay.
So if you want a deal a day, bump it up from there.
Carrie again, great questions, you guys. And Lori Saucier, I appreciate you being here. Honored to have you here. They're both kind of asking the same question. What's the best way to find a part-time assistant for a realtor? Do you have any?
It depends on what. Yeah, it depends on what we're delegating. Is it marketing delegation? Is it transactional paperwork kind of stuff? I mean, it depends on that. I mean, there's all sorts of virtual people that are used to doing real estate activities that don't need to be in your office. I mean, there's a bunch of resources related to that. That's not an easy thing, though, because if I tell somebody here where to go, I might be sending them to the wrong place.
Got it. No, I agree with you there. Yeah, I agree with you. Does video really make the phone ring? System 4?
Video make the phone ring? Yes, tremendously. If you do it right. But what's your message?
Yeah,
exactly. What's the message on the video?
Everything goes back to your message, man, 100%. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I can promise you this. Just putting up some YouTube videos is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Just posting some videos to your website, not going to do anything.
Hey, Todd, they want to see, they want to opt into some of your stuff. Like you talked about the videos that you do. How would somebody get to that or opt into that to watch your videos? Just send you an email? Okay. Let's send an email to toddbatesmarketing@gmail.com. Appreciate that. How do you handle the no-call list? And we'll end with this question, Todd. I really appreciate your time here, brother. I know you're busy. How do you deal with the no-call list? It keeps us from contacting many people.
Get them to call you, number one. Create a great message. Get them to call you. Number two, use the service. If we're talking about expireds or FSBOs or something, use the service like the Red X and have them scrub them for you. It's not an easy thing to do, but they'll scrub the list. You can use Mojo as a dialer. A lot of my clients use Mojo to dial FSBOs and expireds, and the list is already scrubbed for you.
Got it.
But bigger issue is you got to get a few of these people to call you back because you're obviously not the only person calling them. So there's a lot of competition.
Right.
So again, it comes back to what is your story. We got to get people to digest, consume your particular story.
Yep.
And your story can't be anybody else's story. Otherwise, you look like everybody else and get the same result. So I think I've hammered you enough on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last one, George, and I'm going to answer this one. EID stands for Entrepreneur Idiot Disease is what that stands for, man. I love that, by the way. Entrepreneur Idiot Disease. So, Todd, I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. And congratulations to all your success and all that you do for real estate agents. I don't know if you work with loan officers, but if you do, thank you for that. We're just trying to do our thing here to help as many people as we possibly can to stay in business, have a better life, have more success. If you're on this call and you would like a copy of this recording, please get with the loan professional that sent you here. He can get you not only the PowerPoint, but Todd has been gracious enough to give us all of the handouts that he shared with you today on class. You will have them available to you. The recording will be up for 8 weeks along with the PowerPoint, so I would hurry. If it's not in this week or next week, get with the loan professional that sent you here to get a copy of this, of all of this amazingly great stuff that you can literally take and transform your life and your business and all kinds of stuff. If you want to get a hold of Todd, his number's right here on the screen. I'm just going to say it. It's 303-841-8008, and his email is toddbatesmarketing@gmail.com. Again, don't make the phone call, don't make the email, unless you want to spend a little bit of money, $250, to get a message, and it's a 3-step process. So if you have any interest in that, feel free to contact Todd. Again, brother, sincerely having you on the call today, and if you ever want to come back, I'm more than welcome to have you back on, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Keep me in the loop, and let me know if I can help any other way.
Thanks so much, man. Have a great day, and much continued success to you, brother.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.